I'm ready.
So whenever you guys
Ready.
I hope everyone else is ready.
do a couple of seconds of silence, and then I'll start the music. And you said I don't need to fade it, right? You're just gonna come right in.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Check, check, check. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, that means you're now tuned into chapter 86 of the Introverted Intuition podcast. My name is Jeff, aka the Ambitious Introvert. To my right, I have Miss Miss Coco.
Oh,
Damn.
that's nice.
I was thinking about Lainey not being
is
here.
not even here yet. She's
Damn.
on her way.
That's right. Who are you again?
Coco.
There you go. Miss Coco.
Miss Coco to you, yes.
CR is absent. Where's CR? Did he say why he's not here?
No, I think he just had some stuff going on. You know, he's busy.
Like, busy guy.
He's a big rap star. So.
Whatever. But in front of us, we have two special guests. I knew about you, but not the boyfriend. So it's nice to meet him too.
We always like a plus one.
Yeah. Shout out to the Instagram Explorer page because you could just find anyone you're just interested in, and I think we follow mutual people too. And I went to your Instagram. I saw the bio. You're a psychotherapist.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was immediately intrigued by that because I didn't know what it was specifically, and I kind of want to get into that as the interview goes on. But please introduce yourselves to the people.
Hey everyone. So my name's Liz Beecroft. I'm a full-time mental health therapist, and I also am a content creator, I guess you can call it. I don't really know the appropriate title for that
Whatever you want it to be.
these days, but and I'm here with my boyfriend Colin.
Hi, Colin.
What's up? How you doing?
Welcome.
I thought I was just here to support, and I thought I was just going to be hanging outside, but
This
thank
is the
you
level
for-
of support you're showing.
Yeah,
It's
I
awesome.
guess so.
Yes,
But thank you for
yes.
inviting me in.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I have most questions for her, but like,
Yeah,
what do you do?
I work, a 9 to 6 job in marketing, but I take photos on the side.
Awesome.
So I guess I used to take Liz's photos for the whole Instagram thing she's doing.
Nice face.
Yeah,
Dope. That's like free
So-
for photography. Like,
I guess so. So I
Yeah.
can speak
Or
on that
do
a
you
little
charge
bit.
it?
I'll speak on that a
Yeah.
little bit. But like we used to shoot with like my whole like DSLR and whatnot, but now it's just iPhone.
Wow.
okay, that's very interesting. I
Yeah.
want to get into that for sure.
Yeah, totally.
So you guys have never done interviews before ever.
Nope, my
Woohoo,
first one.
podcast.
Do you have any
Yeah.
history with podcasts in general? Like, do you listen to them?
Oh yeah.
Colin
Yeah,
more so
I,
than
like,
me.
I geek out on podcasts. I did one interview I was talking about earlier before the show. On the phone, it was like, this is the most official thing I've done for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, podcast-wise, I'm like a Joe Rogan addict.
Yeah, I
Nice.
was listening to Joe
Ah.
Rogan earlier, and he had some guy talking about like asteroid impacts,
Yeah.
and I got freaked out. I had to turn it
Oh
off
yeah.
because it's like there's like the chance of it happening is coming up in June, and I got really scared.
Aw.
So I was like, yeah, I'm cool on Joe for right now. I was listening to Joe Budden. How'd you guys meet?
Tinder.
Tinder?
Nice.
Yeah.
We are a Tinder success story.
All right.
Yeah.
Who swiped right on who?
He messaged me first, so
Yeah. I guess so,
Yeah.
yeah. She had like I was into skating at the time, and she had some skating reference to some guy who like actually enjoyed like to watch him skate. So it was like the easiest, I guess, pickup line you can call it.
Mm.
Nice.
But it was just an easy flow, and then I invited her to a show. She lied about liking the band,
Okay.
so I was pumped on. Then we went to the show. She had no idea who they were.
What band was it?
Fiddler.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I don't know.
Do
It
you
was a
use,
small
do you use
show.
Tinder in your single adventures?
I haven't.
Are you going to? I mean,
I don't
this is a
know.
sex story.
I don't know. Maybe. Now that I,
think
have
you should.
a real life success story.
You
right
just
in front
can't
of me.
swipe left to everything.
I know you're right about
Give
that.
someone a chance. So before getting into like your career and stuff, I kind of want to know about you as a person. Are you originally from New York? Or?
no, I'm actually from Pennsylvania, a really small town. People in my area call it the coal region because there's a lot of coal mines, and
Wow.
it's known for its mining and its fracking, and has like a strong history in that sense. So that's where I was born and raised. I came to New York in 2014 for my master's degree in social work. I went to NYU. It was a 2-year program, got my master's, and then got a job and staying here. So
That's interesting.
yeah.
And you're in New York?
Yeah,
New
I'm
York as
from
well?
Long Island. I'm local. I'm
Gotcha.
a Long Island guy. Lived in a few spots in Manhattan, then moved to Brooklyn with Liz.
Dope.
And yeah.
So you got your master's, And what was college like for you? Were you a good student?
In high school, I was like stellar. Graduated in the top 10 of my class. Played varsity in all 3 sports my freshman year. And then college, I joined a sorority and got wrapped up in partying. So I can't say that my GPA was good, but it was good enough to get through. So I was I had my degree in psychology in undergrad. After college, I kind of took a year off. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to work with people and make a difference. And so I did. Actually, I lived at home with my parents for that year after college. I worked 3 different jobs in the mental health field, and that's when I realized mental health was like where I wanted to be. So then I started to apply to social work schools. I got accepted to a couple, but I chose NYU because my undergrad experience was a really small school in central PA. Everyone, it was kind of like high school 2.0. So came to New York for the bigger city experience, and I loved it.
Awesome.
I kind of want to back up to the sorority experience first. Are you allowed to talk about that? I kind of
Yeah,
feel like it's like
yeah.
a cult.
It's not like a
thing.
secret
It
society,
is-
right?
No.
It's totally a cult. It's 100% a cult.
I think you have to sign like an NDA to even talk about it.
No, it's good. You can talk about it.
Okay. What was that like for you?
It was cool. I mean, so I played basketball in college up until sophomore year. I also played softball up until junior year. So I was actually originally a bio major because I wanted to be an orthodontist. Organic chemistry is kind of what changed it for me. So I changed my major, ended up quitting the sports because it was just too much. That's why I joined a sorority, because I still needed that like outlet to have like a social life. And unfortunately at this school, if you weren't part of a sports team or in Greek life, you didn't really have a social life.
Wow.
So I joined a sorority. It was cool. It was fun. During that time, I have a lot of great friends from it, people I still keep in contact with today. Looking back on it, there are definitely some regrets. I mean, I definitely spent way more time partying than I should have studying.
I'm sure.
But you learned from that, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't, I lived through it, I experienced it, and I think I got it out of my system. So that way when I came for grad school, it was, straight school focused, and
Gotcha.
I was able to just like do my thing that I had to do.
Focus.
I don't know too many partiers around like the age 27 to like 30. It's the people like the age
was
people I
partying
hang
at
out
that
with.
age.
Like, but like I don't know. I feel like people slow down as they get to
Yeah.
like late 20s, early 30s. I'm not sure that's what your age is, but
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
from my experience, I feel like partying's kind of like dying
Yeah.
out. I hope not, but
I
Very
can't-
different ways, to have a
can't-
good time.
Yeah, I
Which is,
can't even stay awake past 10 anymore.
Yeah, right?
I'm
Like-
ready for
Yeah.
bed.
9 o'clock, I'm ready for. After this podcast, I'm going to bed. Honestly,
Aw.
like, so how did you settle on your major? Like you had a different major prior, but how did you settle on the one you
Yeah.
graduated with?
So in college, I talked to my advisors a lot about, what route to take. Because unfortunately with psychology, you pretty much need your master's in order to work clinically with people, like face-to-face work. So I had a couple different options, but I think social work I chose because it gave me the most broadest range. So I could, I didn't have to specify which, like, demographic I wanted to work with. So that's nice. And, my first job out of grad school, I was working with like the juvenile justice population, doing in-home family therapy. And now I'm working full-time for a foster care organization and doing individual therapy from kids ages 3 to 21. So I'm getting a lot of different experience, but I like it that way. I mean, one day I want to open a private practice, and so I think getting my hand into a bunch of different things and
It's the way to go.
meeting different people, yeah.
You went to the dimly lit room with the leather couch and the fireplace, or like?
Oh no, I have a whole idea. And I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, I want to do a private practice and focus it on people in creative industries and brand it, pretty cool too.
Right.
Not be a stereotypical stuffy therapist.
You definitely don't come
office.
off as that. So
No, not at all. That seems really selfless, though. Like, where does that come from? That selflessness.
I mean, my family always has been. My aunt was a nurse. My mom is like the most selfless person I know. Yeah, I mean, I think I was just raised that way. So, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like we have that conversation all the time. Like,
So?
how you are as an adult is just, like kind of inherited from how you were raised a little bit. Like
definitely.
the lessons you're instilled with, you kind of maintain in some form of way.
Yeah.
You agree? Like,
I definitely, yeah, absolutely.
That's really interesting because I feel like I don't know. Do you enjoy the aspect of like hearing other people's stories and sharing yours with them, or like what's like the most appealing part about it to you?
I think the most appealing part about it is being able, like, so for me, working full time, a lot of this stuff I'm just like, oh, why isn't this person just doing that? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's, an easy fix in my brain. But for some people, they have this, like, these goggles on, right? Because they're going through so many different things that they can't kind of get that out of their head to just focus on their goals and what they have to do. So I think being able to just like help steer them and give them the tools. Like I always tell my friends or even my clients, like I don't have a cure for you. It's all on you. I'm going to teach you the skills that you need to do and you need to practice. And it's up to you to use them, because if you don't go home and practice and you practice your coping skills or, do what you have to do, you're not going to get out of that fog.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoy seeing, I've some of my clients now I've started seeing, over 2 years ago. And there's one girl specifically who's, she's come such a long way. And it's so cool to just see, like, she's 16, she's going to school, fighting, doing things she shouldn't be doing. And now she's, like, straight focused on, like, getting her resume together, getting a job, like, ditching the people who were bad influences on her. And it's like, I feel like a proud parent. I'm just like, yeah, you're doing it. So that kind of stuff is really rewarding for me. Just getting to see, especially kids. Kids are my, like, soft spot in my heart. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you see yourself at some point maybe working exclusively with kids, or are you just open to kids, adults? Doesn't really matter.
Kids now. I mean, I prefer the young adults, teenagers. Little ones, it's tough because I feel like at times they're not comprehending a lot yet because they're just so young.
Yeah.
But I think like the young adult, like college age, maybe right out of college is kind of where I would like to focus on. But I mean, I haven't yet worked with adults, so I'm, maybe that'll change my mind if I ever get that experience.
Cool.
I've only had like one physical therapist in my entire life. After that, I used Talkspace. But that one experience I had was really, really bad in my opinion, because he wouldn't even look me in the eyes when I was speaking to him or interacting when we were talking. And it kind of had me jaded towards the whole experience. And because I felt like, one, he couldn't relate to me, and one, he didn't care. So how do you, like, not convince your clients or just let them know that you actually care? Like,
How do you build that rapport with them?
Yeah, because like I feel like most people are kind of resistant to the idea.
A lot.
I think one thing for me that helps me is that I work with teenagers. They love sneakers, and I always have really cool sneakers on at work.
We're gonna get
You're
into that too.
self-described sneakerhead, yeah.
I come into
So many shoes I've seen. Jesus.
So fortunately for me, coming to work, some of the teenagers are like, oh my God, you're normal. You have like cool shoes on. So that right off the bat helps. But I think just being real with them. Like, I don't use the clinical language. If they're sitting there cursing at me, I'll curse right back with them. Like, I just try to match what they're giving me. And I also, like, at times when it's appropriate clinically, I'll use personal experiences and be like, look, like, I know how you're feeling. I've been through something like that. And I promise you, like, it will get better. And in a couple years, this won't even matter. But right now, we got to focus on how we can get through this. I think just, like, trying to understand that a lot of people think, oh, you're a teenager, like, it's so silly, don't worry about boys, don't worry about this at this age. But for them, like, it is a big thing,
deal,
Right.
They are going through a lot, and they don't know what's ahead in their future yet. So I think keeping that in mind, too, helps, just, taking them seriously.
That's very interesting. And I'm curious, like, how did you even, I guess, develop the confidence to speak with people about their experience? And, like, because I feel, what am I trying to say? Like, at least in the Black community, like, therapy is kind of shunned upon. Like, you're kind of looked at as weak. And it took me a while to feel comfortable within my own self and to take that leap. So did you personally have any experiences with therapy growing up, and then you transfer into your career?
Yeah. Actually, when I was really, really young, I used to get extremely homesick. Like, to
My
the
daughter
point,
too, yeah.
to the point where, like, my mom and dad would try to send me to, like, basketball camps or sports camps on the weekends. It could be like a overnight for one night, and I would have panic attacks, like, so bad. My mom would have to get a hotel room and actually stay near the camp just to, like, be there so I could, like, relax. So I think she sent me to therapy when I was young for that, and at the time I had no idea what was going on. And then when I was in college, I ended up going to therapy. I had a pretty bad breakup that kind of put me over the edge. So I went to therapy for that, and it helped. I mean, I can't say that I've had experiences where I didn't really relate with my therapist, and I'm very lucky for that because I know a lot of people. I have so many people that message me, and they're like, how do you find a good therapist? And I tell everyone, like, you literally have to go and shop for a therapist. It's like and when you call and schedule an intake with them and say, hey, like, I'm shopping for a therapist, you got to be on your A game if you want to keep me. And you know what? It's okay to say, look, I don't feel connected with you. I'm going to find someone else. Yeah. I refer a lot of people to psychologytoday.com because you can go through profiles, and most of the therapists will have like a little blurb written about themselves and their specific focuses in therapy. So, you know, some people might go to a therapist who focuses on depression, but that person might be suffering with like OCD. So it's not a good match. It's never going to work. So it's really doing your research, but also being upfront and saying, like, you know, I want to find someone. I'm taking this seriously. And yeah.
One thing I heard in my community growing up is like the one like thing they would try to steer me away from it is they would say, "Oh, you're paying someone to care about you. Like they only care about you because you're getting paid." Like, what do you think about that statement? Do you agree that to a certain degree that's what it is, or?
I mean, like, if you're going to the doctor, you're paying the doctor to take care of you too. Yeah. You know, I there's a TED Talk by Kevin Briel, and I love it because he compares, you know, he says, you know, if this society today is so, mental health is so taboo to people still, and there's such a stigma around it. He said, you know, if you go up to someone and say, hey, I have the flu, or I broke my arm, people are like, oh, what's wrong with you? Or I hope you're okay. I hope you feel better. They're supportive. But if you go up to someone and say, I'm depressed, they're like, oh, just get over it. And, you know, people are really, he goes on to say that how people are really accepting of, like, any of your body parts breaking down, but if it's your brain, it's like, no.
Right.
So I think, you know, I just compare it, like, your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And I know it's like a corny quote that's always on social media, but it's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to, I mean, like, I don't have Talkspace anymore, so, like, this has kind of become my therapy, like, talking with, like, Coco and whoever else is here. But I would like to invest in an actual therapist at times because I feel like there's, all right, so, like, I've kind of suffered from this thing I deem it called terminal uniqueness, where I feel like no one else can relate to my problem or my struggle, so I just tune out everyone else's opinion on my situation. I don't try to invest in that. And I know that's wrong, but I guess... Like, have you mostly talked to people face to face about your problems, or have you done like an online thing? Like, is there much of a difference?
I had a therapist last year who I did Skype sessions with a couple of times, but I go to my own therapist. She's actually right over here on Broadway.
Oh, wow.
And I see her every Sunday, and I go in person. But as far as me as a therapist with my clients, all of it has been in person.
Got it. And, like, your escape from kind of depression and stuff is, like, yoga, right? Like
yoga, meditation, music, and podcasts.
Do any of those help you from the depression as well?
Yeah,
or
I mean...
avoiding it?
Headspace. I use it for meditation. I play basketball a lot still. Music. I trying to work out more because research shows that it does help.
For sure.
Trying to think what else I do really for self-care. Like, I think for me, it's just setting boundaries. I'm very much a perfectionist with things.
Nodding head.
He totally agrees.
Boyfriend nods, yes.
She cleans. You clean so much.
I have like some OCD
That
symptoms
has
at
to be
home where
something.
everything has to be clean.
Oh, you
all
must
the
hate this
time.
room then.
But no, like, I think for me, it's just setting boundaries. Like, if I'm tired and I need an extra, like, couple hours of sleep, I have no problem going to bed at 7 o'clock. Like, that's fine with me. And then waking up the next day feeling refreshed, or, you know, even getting up a little bit earlier than I need to.
That's a good tip.
That works.
So you see your therapist on Sundays. So let's say, for example, you kind of feeling down, you're feeling in type of depression type of mode on a Thursday, and you got this guy next to you. Do you guys communicate through those moments, or how does that work? Like, when you see her down, are you just there for her, or do you just let her kind of just ease through it?
A little bit of both, to be honest. Like, I think I have a good gauge now of, like, when I should step in and say something and, like, be there. And then there are times where it's like, all right, just let her do her thing. She's either cleaning or, you know, organizing her makeup for the 10th time in the same week.
Yeah.
Like, let her do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, kind of both.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I feel it's kind of like a lot of pressure too, as
Yeah.
as a man in a relationship, to help a girl get through her depression, because like you may set up something that may send her over the edge even further. I know from experience.
Yeah, and then like I want to be there for her, so it's like it's tough for me to like, can I go out for the day? You know, like I can, like that's not an issue, but like to me, that's where it like impacts me, and like that's where I guess if I were to have like an issue, that's where it comes from.
Right.
If I don't know.
You guys seem
Things
pretty
are
close,
good.
like close enough
Yeah.
to really get through those moments. At least my perception right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Wow.
That's good.
Yeah, we know each other very well.
How long have you guys been together?
3,
4.
almost 4, almost 4.
It'll be 4 years in May.
Yeah, almost
Yeah.
4 years.
Aw.
Maybe
Yeah.
4.
It's right
yeah.
around
You
the
should have got that
corner.
right, man. What's going on?
No, it's
Guys are terrible with
officially
dates.
He
3.
didn't know my birthday when we first started meeting, so it's fine. He still thinks it's a date.
May
No, the whole-
31st.
No, the whole birthday thing is kind of hard. You got to give us time, like at least a year, because it's hard. Because
Yeah,
so many other
thank you.
holidays and
And
anniversaries.
dude, I said May 30th the first time that I messed it up. It's the 31st.
24 hours.
No,
It's a long time.
I've gotten birthdays wrong by like 6 months. It's fine.
Oh, wow.
Do you feel like any pressure when you're meeting with like your clients each week? Because like you kind of are building yourself up to be a bit of a savior to them, right? Because I imagine that's a lot of pressure if things kind of go wrong or don't go right all the time.
Yeah, I mean, some cases I get actually really excited to see the kids because I enjoy working with them, and they're lighter cases as far as like trauma. But right now, with being in foster care, all of my cases are have been through trauma in some way, shape, or form. So it's definitely times where I'm like feeling like I'm walking on eggshells, or I want to make sure I'm providing the best service to them. I have a couple clients that have some serious experiences with trauma, and I think for them it's more of a pressure of feeling like I'm there for them. Like there are some clients that I do give my personal cell phone number to, and I'll say, hey, if you're going through it, let me know, text me.
Yeah.
And they have, like, there's a time where someone texted me at 2 a.m, and I'm a very light sleeper, so I heard it, and I woke up and I was like texting her through like a crisis. Ended up just having to send her a couple silly YouTube videos to help her like laugh and just like get through it. And then the next morning at work, I ended up following up with her foster parent and was just like, hey, make sure you check in with her. Kind of told her she was going through some stuff, and things were smooth sailing from there on out. But yeah, I mean, there's pressure at times to try and be there and be a good role model and a good figure in their lives, because a lot of these kids don't have good support systems.
There's literally no linear trajectory to their paths and the amount of help you can give. Like, how do you wake up each day and just remain confident in what you're doing?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
You just wing it?
No,
Well, not
some-
wing it, but like,
Yeah, I mean, some days I go in and I'm like, am I actually doing anything? Am I helping anyone? And then the next day I'll have a kid come in and be so grateful and be like, I just did this. And it's like a huge milestone for them, even if it seems so small. But just something as simple as like one of the teenage boys I have, not beating the shit out of someone in school that day, which he probably does 4 out of 5 days a week. So,
glad I'm not in school anymore.
praising him and just being, giving him some positive reinforcement. And I think, but there are definitely days I go in and I feel very unprepared, or, I had something going on the night before and I didn't get enough sleep, and go in, I try always to set a to-do list the night before I leave work for the next morning. So that way I go in, I just have it there and I can tackle what I have to do.
How honest are you with them? Like, is there like a line of honesty you won't cross, like when they're asking you maybe for advice or something, like, or do you kind of hold back a bit?
I mean, there's times where I try not to give advice, because I think with some of the kids, I don't want them to take it literally. I don't know. I only see them for like an hour a week, so I don't know what's going on the rest of those hours. But what I try to do is just be as real as I can with them. I think I have to gauge too. There's some that I know respect that honesty, and then there's some that it will trigger them and they'll just start cursing me out. So it's almost like choosing my words wisely, and we call it sandwich statements in the therapy world, where if you have to give feedback or criticism, you kind of layer that negative with 2 positives. And so I use that a lot for those more sensitive clients.
I wish people would do that for me. People would just give me straight shot honesty.
They feel you can take it.
Stop crying. It'll be okay.
Have you ever had a client where going in, maybe they were triggered based on a conversation, and you maybe had to reach out to another therapist where you had to get extra help? Yeah.
Yeah, we work with a lot of siblings. There's like we have maybe 4 other therapists at our agency. So there's I have one sibling and she has the other sibling. So we'll have like conjoint sessions sometimes. And right now some of the issues that are happening are between the siblings. So try to get on the same page is the goal right now, and we'll have those conjoint sessions.
That's good that you guys have that support too.
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Have are you ever come out of a session feeling better than, like, you personally feeling better? Like, you feeling like you got something off your chest by talking to one of your clients?
Yeah. Actually, that happens a lot now that you say that. There's a lot of sessions, when we first, so the model of therapy I use is CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. It's evidence-based, and, all of our therapists, when we get hired, we're pretty much trained in it, and that's our main focus. And so part of that model is in the beginning we're teaching coping skills and we're practicing them with them. So in those sessions, I'm doing the meditation with the clients, I'm doing the deep breathing with the clients, and that actually helps me too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do you encourage like practices like that, like every day, like the deep breathing and like stuff like that?
Meditation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really, I don't think I have maybe not the focus for it. I don't know. I'm kind of like not anti it, but I'm not sure if it necessarily works.
I wasn't into meditation at first either. And I have a lot of clients who are like, I don't want to do that. It sounds lame, whatever. And I'm like, okay, so what do you like to do? What do you want to do? You don't have to do meditation. You don't have to do deep breathing. There's so many different forms of self-care, like yoga. You find what works for you, and you use that.
Even playing sports, right?
Yeah,
if they're into like sports, playing basketball, 30,
music.
40 minutes. Yeah.
I try to get a lot of my clients to make me a playlist of like happy music that,
nice.
When they're having
That's cool.
days where not feeling great, they can put that on, because 9 times out of 10 they have their headphones in their phone with them. So,
have you noticed like any effects in your clients, the younger clients, and like based from like the social media age? Like, because I feel it kind of makes kids a bit more socially awkward. Even adults too. Like, have you noticed any effects of that when you're speaking to them?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot. I have some that compare themselves absolutely to other people out there. I have had sessions where I've sat with. I see it happen more in teenage girls, but I've had sessions where I've sat with them and I had said, look, we'll edit a photo together and I'll show you how fake some of this stuff is. Like, you can't compare it, because this is all the things people can do to their photos. Not saying everyone does it, but just keep this in the back of your mind when you're, getting down on yourself or whatever. I also have clients that will go on and post videos of them fighting, and they like thrive off of that because they get a lot of negative reinforcement. All these people are like, oh yeah, you're so tough, you're this, you're that. So they want to keep fighting, and they want to keep taking videos of them fighting, and it just spirals into so many consequences that they're like basically kicked out of every school, and so I mean, definitely in the world of social media, I do see effects more negative than positive right now for the teens.
And you also kind of have a relatively large social media following. Like, how does that make you feel? Like, does it make you feel, I guess, any better about yourself? Any pressure that comes with that? Or do you not care? I
don't really care. I mean, there are some instances where I do care about it. Like, a lot of the brands that I work with, I do try to reach out and bring those connections back to my foster care organization. So, for example, recently I reached out with Foot Locker, and I'm trying to get them to come do a workshop for the kids at our agency. And so in that sense, having a good following helps me be able to do that more so than if I didn't have a good following.
Right.
But other than that, like, my main thing is I just want my friends to follow me. Like,
Cool.
My mom, she also follows me, and she'll comment on my stuff, and I'm like, thanks.
Is buying sneakers escape from depression too for you? You have a lot of shoes from what I've seen.
It started when I was young, and I think it's just hard to break. It's a habit. I just like see a new pair of sneakers and I love them and I need to have them. I think it definitely can be an escape for me at times. Because like that smell of a fresh pair of sneakers.
Like the new car smell, right?
It's so nice, yeah.
Are you sick of her amount of shoes? Like oh, another one? Like, damn, like.
I mean, at points, yeah. To be honest, but I mean, that's her thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the amount of camera equipment that I buy is disgusting. So she can say the same thing to me, but it's, you know, it's the things we like, and why not?
If anything, you're probably spending more money than she is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
For sure. I can imagine.
Maybe.
I'm not a camera guy.
Maybe.
I'm a fan of the art. I don't know the prices.
Let's tally it up.
Yeah. Next time you guys
No,
come
but
back.
it's like, you know, like the room. It's like the closet. It's like her boxes stacked up in the closet. Some under the bed. It's just like.
Or very
you know,
neatly arranged, I'm
so-
sure.
Let's
Oh my
hope it's
gosh.
neat. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's part of it. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. And
many
she
pairs
does
do you
have
own?
Good, yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I honestly have never counted. Here I probably have over 100 and some pairs.
Oh, not counting back home, maybe?
No, I
Oh,
have
wow.
some in Pennsylvania too.
Sheesh. And then you probably have a storage unit somewhere else. Will sneak into.
I wish. Maybe one day that'll happen.
Do you have a particular brand that you always rock with, or does it not matter?
I'm very much a Nike head. I love Nike. Not by, you know, I love Adidas. I like New Balance too. Nothing against them. I just find, like, I'm just more drawn to the silhouettes and the designs of that Nike puts out.
Do you hope to design your own sneaker one day with Nike? Is that a goal of yours?
That would be cool. I entered the on-air competition last year. My friend Gabby won.
Oh,
Her shoes came out the
nice.
La Mezclas about 2 weeks ago, I guess, last week, and
Are you getting those?
I have them. Yeah,
Cool.
they're sweet. Yeah, they're really cool. But yeah, no, I mean that would be the dream. I think if I were to design a sneaker, it would definitely be mental health related, and I would definitely donate part of the proceeds back to an organization. I wouldn't just do it to say like, oh, I did a cool shoe.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you get like your social media following? Because obviously you can't put your client's business out there, so I feel like your therapist profession won't really be the selling point of your Instagram page. Is it just your fashion, do you think, or your personality?
I think it started out definitely as fashion and sneakers. Back when I started, Colin was shooting all of my stuff on like a DSLR, so everything was really high quality. I got really into like, you know, the marketing and the networking, SEO kind of side of things and doing all that. I used to have a blog. I used to write blog posts. I think all that really helped. And then it got to be a lot. It got to be a lot of pressure. There were days, you know, especially on weekends because I worked Monday to Friday, I would wake up with call and be like, all right, you know, we got to go shoot 6 outfits today. And I was kind of getting like engrossed in it. And finally I just was like, you know what, this is too much. I want to just go out with friends and do what I got to do.
Right.
So I took a step back. He hasn't really shot me on his DSLR in a while. It's just if we're out and about and I like my outfit, hey, can you take a photo on my iPhone? And that's pretty much what's going on now.
The iPhone wave is what you prefer nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, because when we used to do like the Sunday shoots and do like 6 outfits, this comes back to like her being a perfectionist, right? It's like if she wasn't happy with the photo that I thought was good, then we would honestly start to like bicker a little bit. And it would cause like a rift between us. And I was like, this is no good. Like, I don't want to be, you know, this, like, I just don't want to fight at all.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess it got to a point where she realized, like, oh, I don't need this whole extravagant shoot day and DSLR and go back and editing. Like, let's just go have a fun time. iPhone, people care about her personality more than anything,
Right.
you know? So let's just roll with that.
Welcome, Lainey.
Hi, Lainey.
Hi, everybody.
You had-
Hi.
You had a horrible commute, I'm assuming.
Horrible commute.
Just to give you an update, they're awesome, and they're a couple.
Okay,
Colin
cool.
and Liz.
I have such a couple question too.
You want to just fire it off right now?
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull it up. Hold on.
Okay, we're holding on.
Okay.
Couple question incoming. Mad pressure.
So, is a sneakerhead worst nightmare in a relationship is someone who has the same size as them but not the same collection?
No, I think that's the best thing ever. More the merrier.
The more the merrier. So, are y'all the same size?
No, I wish. He's
Who's
10 and
the
a
same
half and I'm a
size?
7.
Who has this issue?
I don't know.
I don't know. I used to have that, like, a great relationship where we were the exact same size in clothing. Not in shoes. I wish I'm never
Clothing.
able to find
Yeah,
somebody
clothing.
in
I
shoes.
steal his clothes all the time.
She wears
clothes,
triple,
yes.
like look how big, like
I wear
it's
everything
so
oversized.
unnecessary.
That comes
Yeah.
with the territory.
I guess, yeah.
Right.
Because I mean, we used to be into Supreme and all that stuff, so
Yeah.
it would be like, all right, just buy one. We don't have to buy two.
Right.
We could just whatever.
That always
Look at
helps.
that common sense.
Would you agree that the sneaker community is like a cult, like a legit one? Like it's dangerous out there for some regular people.
Yeah. I that's a touchy subject. I get so passionate about like women in sneakers because I don't think women get a seat at the table a lot of the time. And I struggle with seeing certain brands use certain people that are women to design sneakers because at times when those women are interviewed, they can't speak on the sneaker, and then it kind of makes all women look bad. And then that reinforces this whole idea of like women shouldn't be taken seriously. They don't know their stuff, that blah, blah, blah. And it's not true. There's so many really dope women out there who do know their sneakers. Scotty Beam, for example, I would love to see her design a shoe.
Right.
Love Scotty B.
Right. Trying to get on her show. Been trying for months.
Keep
Still
trying. Don't give up.
Still trying.
You don't give up.
Right. So like, wait, what do you mean? Like they don't really know much about the sneaker and the history of it, or the?
Yeah, I don't think they're. I mean, I think they like sneakers and they're into sneakers. Don't get me wrong, but I think if you're gonna design a sneaker, that's a whole nother level. You need to have some knowledge of the history and where the colorway you're making originated from, and
But why though? Like, why do you think they should know? Like, I just don't.
Because I think like you're representing women in sneakers right now. It's like it's not a level playing field. When men have this whole like idea, we love sneakers. We know everything about sneakers. We know the history, the colorways, blah blah blah. Yeah. And women aren't taken seriously. That's why like when you look at women's shoes, they're all pink and purple.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
fucking true.
That's true.
I usually go shopping, and when I look for sneakers, I'm looking at the guy sneakers because the women's styles are like off to me. They're like she said, pink or purple or like.
And they probably don't have your size because they started at like, the 7 is the lowest. And if you want it in kids, the kids aren't the same as the men.
Yep.
And they're trash. Is that another? We're trash.
Yeah,
right?
and so on that tip, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Oh.
No, I just think I just want to see a level playing field, and I think
sure.
that in order to get us there, I'm not saying that I'm all for Laylee May and for who else was recently. I'm just thinking of Laylee. I love Laylee, but when she dropped the whole, her Biotech ones, and she said it was based off of the dunk or the SBs, not the dunks.
Yeah.
It's like
Made you cringe.
yeah, a little bit. It's just because it's you're put in this position, so just rep us. Don't make us look silly like we don't know what we're doing.
Representation matters.
Does always.
Going back to mental health for a second, would you agree that mental health currently, or maybe even longer before now, is kind of become a trendy marketing tool? Like some people are literally just pretending they're sad to like sell their next album.
Yeah, I mean, I think I actually was just messaging a friend today about this. I'm all for people raising awareness on mental health, but it's a touchy subject, especially in the world of influencers or whatever you want to call it, because I feel like there's a lot of influencers out there who do genuinely mean it and have experienced it and are doing it because of they're passionate about it.
Yeah.
But there definitely are some out there who are doing it because it's a trend and it will help them gain more followers in that little niche, or it will help them partner with a wellness brand or an athletic brand or a CBD oil brand or whatever it may be. Yeah. And who's to say, like, I don't know if they're doing it for whatever reasons. I'm not inside their heads, but, it's just something to be leery of, because giving advice on mental health is a serious topic. Like, you can't just go out saying whatever you want about it. There's loyal people who follow some of these people, and, making sure you're speaking the right things and saying the right things and not telling people to do certain things that could potentially harm them or lead them down into a depression or whatever.
Right. I definitely want the message to be out there, and I definitely do my part. We all do our part on this platform to do that in a genuine way, but maybe I'm just crazy, but I just feel like there's certain people that I'm kind of a fan of or was a fan of that are just literally going a little too hard with the promo of they're being sad and stuff like that. And I'm really big on integrity. Like, I just feel like if you need to do everything you do in life needs to be done with some integrity and some truthfulness.
Definitely.
The listeners tell me I ask too many questions. So you guys have anything? I'll pass it to you guys. I'm sorry.
So what's the difference between a therapist and a psychotherapist?
Nothing. I mean, I just say psychotherapist because I think it's mental health. Like people, there's so many times I'll say therapist and I think I'm like a physical therapist
I
or
gotcha.
so.
Just to differentiate.
Yeah.
Cool.
How did you wait? So do you have to like? You don't like to wear like a certain thing when you go to work. Do you have to wear like a lab coat or anything?
No, that'd be cool though.
That'd be awesome, right?
Here I am in my lab coat. No, I usually just wear like suits and sneakers, business casual.
You have like a notepad and stuff like that, or clipboard.
I do. I have I have my little notes that I keep in my office and my computer.
Can you remember like your very first session and what that was like for you?
Yes,
Nerve-wracking?
actually, it was right out of grad school. I was working for a different agency at the time doing FFT therapy. It's called functional family therapy. It's another evidence-based therapy model where we work with, it's tailored for children and families in the juvenile justice system. So in New York State, if you're, I think 16, you commit a felony, you can be tried as an adult. And so this job, basically what was happening was they're teenagers committing felonies, and in order for them to get youth offender status and have their records sealed, part of their, in the court case was to do a family therapy program. So I was a therapist. I'd go into the home. I'd do therapy with the family. And my first client, he was great. He was like the nicest kid ever. I was like, oh, I can handle this. And then like I got some real serious like kids that were like not taking my shit for a while. But no, yeah, I do remember him. He was great. And it turned out it was successful. He got his record sealed. Everything's good. And hopefully he's doing well now. So
How long do you have? Are you allowed to keep in contact with them, or is it their choice to keep in contact with you?
So I had a work cell phone at that time, so I never had my personal number. I try not to give my personal number out too often, only in cases that are a little bit more severe.
Right.
Because if there is a time where maybe, I'm out with friends or something, or I'm drunk.
You're a person, you like to have fun?
Try and be therapizing at that time. But, yeah, I mean, there are some, I think, that have found me on Instagram, and they've brought it up in sessions. And, I don't think I post anything bad on there that is, so.
Yeah, right.
Have you ever wound up taking any like personal clients through your social media platform?
So I can't do that until July. I can take my next licensure exam, and then hopefully, if I pass that, I will be able to do private practice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So growing up being interested in sports is the complete opposite end of the spectrum for doing this. Like, did you ever have aspirations of trying to do sports professionally?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then it turned into this?
I wanted to be in the NBA when I was little.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with Iverson. Like, I thought I was Iverson for a period of time.
What position did you play?
Point guard.
Okay,
Nice.
I figured, but
Yeah.
so like, when did your interest in wanting to speak to people and help people start? Can you recall a moment in particular?
I think so. I'm a big Phillies fan, and
Hence the Iverson reference.
yeah. And when Cole Hamels, he's a pitcher, he went through a time where like all of his pitches were kind of all over the place. He wasn't doing well, and so I started researching like the psychology behind this and how I got into this like rabbit hole of how there are like mental health therapists specifically for athletes and how they help them get through so they can perform well. So like for that minute I was really gonna like consider going into that, but also those jobs are like a dime a dozen, or
Really?
they're few and far between. I don't know the correct comparison,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I thought
many.
like teams would employ like teams of people. I would just assume just because
I have no
they
idea.
want their athletes always like at top performance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it works. Like, you would think, like, they would have one on board, but I also heard that, like, a lot of them go through their own private people. Have you guys ever seen the show The Therapist on Viceland?
Yeah, I love the show.
So yeah.
Yeah, and also when I started watching that, I was like, I want to be Kanye's therapist. That's my dream.
Please help that man.
Reach
Please help
out.
that man.
But
Lainey's getting mad. every
All
time I
help
talk
is
about Kanye.
appreciated.
Let me stop talking about Kanye ever. She gets very defensive.
I'm just saying, like, let my man be.
No, we can't anymore. It's gone too far.
What has gone? Okay, we're not doing that.
But so there wasn't like a specific moment you were like, I woke up, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
No,
Interesting.
I can't say. I think nothing that I can recall, at least.
Yeah. What's like one, I guess, piece of advice that you've gained from like maybe a colleague or just you've learned throughout your journey doing this? Can you recall that?
Yeah, setting boundaries. My old supervisors for my first job were like, Liz, you do too much. Like, set boundaries, or you're going to burn yourself out. So, yeah.
And you apply that all aspects of your life, like career-wise, relationship?
Have to, yeah.
I try. I have a hard time. I like to give all of myself as much as I can. So it's like there's times where it's really hard to just say no for the sake of my mental health. I'd rather, help out a friend, even if I'm like at my wit's end. I'll drop everything to like be there. And at times it's draining. Like I don't have the mental capacity sometimes to just be like, oh, I can't do this, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
I worry about like people getting mad at me.
You sound like an empath.
I think my
Definitely.
job has made me this way at times, but
You're like a people pleaser, I guess?
yeah.
You guys both don't seem like you like confrontation at all. Like, I don't
No,
see you guys
I hate
arguing.
it.
No, I hate it. I'm a Libra. That's like the one
Same.
thing I know from a Libra. I no fighting.
None.
Sometimes I'm down for the fight, so I'm not going to lie. Especially if I know, like, you're wrong, then I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, and like if I get attacked, like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
You're getting these hands. You're getting this stuff. Yeah.
Close, come on.
So, like, you guys mostly just talk through your issues, right? Like, no real confrontation outside of...
Were you trying to create conflict here?
No, I'm just
No,
curious.
it's a good
joking,
question.
just
I'm trying
joking.
to. What do we do?
We talk. I don't know.
Yeah, we talk, or just like let it be, or just like separate for a little bit if we do have an issue. Yeah, I don't know. Like, she goes and cleans again, and everything's good.
I'm not
Honestly, all
constantly
it is.
cleaning, I swear.
Or like she just like goes in the room, like drinks tea, and then it's good in like 15 minutes.
What's one thing about each other that you enjoy, and what's something new about each other that you kind of dislike? Like a pet peeve, I guess.
Oh God.
My thing that I enjoy most about Colin is he's kooky as hell. he's like so out there and quirky, and
Super spacey.
he loves like interesting things. He's always putting me on to interesting things, even if sometimes I seem like I'm not interested. I am.
It's that
Aw.
Libra life. It's that
Okay.
Libra life. You know? That's what we do.
And my least favorite thing is he has the worst memory ever.
Yeah, it's super bad. Spacey, yeah.
What'd she just say?
What?
What'd she
Bad
do?
memory.
Bad memory.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
that. Alright,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, what do I like about Liz the most? Super caring, I guess, always here for people. Yeah, that has to be it. Pet peeve? Too OCD. Just too OCD. I know it's the thing that helps her cope.
I was
but
gonna
too
say that. I
OCD.
noticed that looking at your profile. I was like, oh, this girl is OCD for real.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
But it's,
Just
I
based
mean,
off the
it's-
sunglasses, I was like, okay, this is a bit much. Everything is clean. Yeah.
Sunglasses. I prefer that over a messy.
No,
you know,
yeah, I
clothing,
get
so
it. But I definitely could
it's-
see that from her profile. I'm like, okay, she's OCD. Like, I see this.
Is that why the shoots on Sunday ended? Like she wanted every angle, every light perfect
Yeah,
lighting?
yeah. And I'm like, yo,
boy.
I just want to watch some hockey. Like, let's go.
Right.
But yeah, it's cool. I don't know, and like it's not even like the apartment. It's like when she's getting ready. It's like if a piece of hair is a certain way,
You need
and
that.
it's cool. I mean, I get it. Like it has to be perfect,
Has to
and that's
be.
fine.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Alright.
So how can I say this? Do you have any vices? Like, I mean, maybe would be maybe buying sneakers could be considered a vice to kind of escape those stressful moments in life.
Yeah, buying sneakers. I think spending money, what's the word I'm looking for? Spending money impulsively, on useless things that like I don't need. That's definitely one. What else? I think, and I always am trying to like get my health and like just eat healthier, and I can't stop eating chocolate and sweets. I mean, I'm trying to think what else. Colin probably can identify this more for me.
Because your job seems like the most stressful, pressure-filled job I can imagine. Or each day, I don't know if you're there each week, but
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
And then like to come home to something like an Instagram like thing,
Yeah.
which is also like super. It's like might even be more stressful than the most stressful job ever.
right.
I don't know how
I
she
can
does
see.
it.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying
You know
on
what I
that.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like that can bring you up, it can bring you down.
Because you let it like strangers into your life. Let's say they don't like that particular outfit or the way you did that sneaker with that dress. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I can.
like I don't know.
People
how she
are
does-
very mean to these days.
and like I don't know how she
Trolls.
doesn't
Yes.
come home from like her job and just like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
She just keeps going.
I've learned to just
Which
put
is-
my phone down
Yeah.
when I get home and just not even really worry about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not really too invested in social media as a whole. I mean, I kind of have to be with the show, but outside of that, I just turn it off.
You unplug a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
It's good.
That's cool.
It's hard. It's really hard because like
Yeah.
you just want to see there's something new trending right now, you know.
Yeah.
And you're and there's so much craziness going on in the world. You want to stay up to date, but you do you like indulge in like any
That's me.
I don't want to get you in trouble if your employers are
No,
listening.
I used to smoke weed. I don't really smoke anymore. I tried. I don't really drink often. Like if I go out with friends, but honestly, like I don't do any of that kind of stuff. What do? I binge watch a lot of like shitty TV shows, like reality TV shows, like The Bachelorette. I love it. Wait,
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that kind of stuff I do. I mean, as far as like, I don't know. I mean, just I would say like.
You're too busy, like working and
Yeah.
doing your thing. I don't know. Yeah. Like what other?
Yeah, I mean, I only asked that for a reason because I feel maybe 8 out of 10 people, that's their escape from that. And have you interacted with someone who does that? Or did you try to use that as a form of escape from depression? And what do you tell them if they do? Or hypothetical situation, I guess, if you haven't.
I just, I try to encourage them to find other things too. And like, it's a balance, keep in mind that I know a lot of people who use like drugs or alcohol to cope with any mental health. It oftentimes it actually like will bring you to like a high for, maybe 30 minutes and you'll feel good. But then the come down from that actually makes you feel worse than you were before.
Yeah.
So.
Except for weed. I mean, let me not say that. PSA.
You're an advocate for weed?
Yeah, like there are some drugs that come down as horrible, but I refuse to believe that weed is going to give you a horrible come down unless you just did a real shitty thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like murdered somebody. Now you're not high no more. It's just like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Then yeah, your come down's going to be horrible, you piece of shit, but that's about it. But I do want to piggyback off of something he said because I think what he's trying to get is that everybody has a vice in life. I like to think that either you love fucking, you love getting high, you love alcohol, or you love money.
I think it's money for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I love all those except the money. I don't care. I don't care about money. Yeah.
Well, you probably get paid the least as a photographer. Like, don't you go through some unpaid shoots at times?
I do like street photography.
Mm-hmm.
Purely hobby. I'm doing 2 weddings this summer. That's the only time I'm getting paid. Yeah, it's just fun for me. But I just work my full-time job, and that's how I get paid.
Have you ever got your work stolen, like your photography, like that you posted? Have you got it stolen? And what do you do in those moments? Can you sue and get some money?
Just like some people like reposting like without credit on Instagram. I don't care. I don't know. I like posted in my story. I'm like, all right, people, like go report this, like to get it down, and like people just go and like report it.
Where'd your interest in the camera begin? Can you recall that? As a kid, maybe?
Shit. Oh yeah, I started a clothing brand in college, so I had to like take product photos of like my t-shirts and hats, and just like learning how I was like, all right, I need like a white background with a shadow on the hat. So like I took the photos on like the white background on the computer. It didn't look like how I wanted. So then I'm like, oh, you have to do Photoshop. So I had to learn Photoshop. So I was like, oh crap, like you can do so much with it. And then moving to the city, I've always loved New York, and then I used to do like landscape photos in New York, and then that kind of got saturated. So then street photography is something that always changes. So
It's nothing more than a hobby right now, or do you want to take it to the next level if you can?
I don't know. It's like it's getting to a point where it's so saturated, and people are just like copying the same themes over and over. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't see you like as a party photographer. Maybe
Dude,
a concert.
I've done that a
but-
few times. I like shooting concerts. It's fun. because I love music. But I've done some events. It's the worst.
Yeah, I imagine. I don't even understand how they get to have fun and work at the same time. Like,
No,
That
it's
is it.
bad. I did like an event. I'm not gonna say what event it was, but like there were like influencers there, and it was nauseating. Like, oh, like can you
Douchebags,
pull me
always.
out to like the street and we can get some photos? And like I'm like, no, I have to be shooting like the alcohol sponsor at now. But like they don't get it. Then like
Yeah.
they want me to like airdrop the 30 photos to them on the spot.
Mm.
Like,
Our
you know.
influencers like the worst people ever.
Yeah, besides Liz.
Yeah.
I don't
Good answer.
identify
Good
as an
answer.
Great
influencer,
answer.
to be
What is
honest.
an
Yeah.
influencer?
It's funny. I'm trying to kind of become one if I can, but I'll be a good one.
The amounts of
Yeah.
shit you talk throughout the day, man. I swear.
This coming from you,
How much shit
our
did
resident
I talk
shit
today?
talker, today.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
Took you a while to get here. I don't know. You might have said a lot.
oh, don't be funny. But did you ask any sneakerhead questions? I feel like I have enough because I just
Go
focused
ahead.
on that background of me.
goodness.
Like, okay, she likes sneakers. Let's go. So I asked all my sneakerhead friends. I'm like, what do you ask somebody who likes sneakers? So what is the longest you ever stood in line for a sneaker?
I don't think you do. You
I
just
don't.
Jump
I
on
haven't.
dope.
I mean, when I
It's
was
that influencer
younger,
stuff.
Yeah.
when I was younger, for some Jordans in Pennsylvania, but like growing up in PA in middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, there wasn't really lines.
I think that's wild. Like,
I think a huge part of it was because I'm from Pennsylvania, where like that doesn't the sneaker culture in PA is so different than it is here. But if I had to say for sneakers, yeah, I try not to do that.
Retros versus OGs.
Oh geez.
Well, are you a sneakerhead
I
also?
don't even know what that is.
I was thinking, could you date
Those
someone
are,
that's
like,
not a
the
sneakerhead?
first-
Like,
yeah.
like, this is
So
like all I
the,
got.
like the Chicago ones, like the 85s are the OGs versus like
I don't know what that
2015
is. I don't
or-
even know what you're saying.
the ones I have are the 2015s, and they're also re-releasing this year in 2019.
Oh, do you have the exact date? You want to give it?
I wish I did. That'd
Okay,
be nice.
so we can prepare.
That was my next question. Any inside scoops you want to give the people out here?
Can you? Are you bound by?
Well, before we
contract?
get to that,
I saw. Okay, so I wish I could. I didn't really sign an NDA, but I saw a couple silhouettes from
This is bad. You should stop it.
brand
yeah, well, you know, I'm gonna listen to this.
that are
Yeah.
coming
I
out.
didn't really
and
sign
they're
one.
nice.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
No.
So the next question is: have you ever been duped and sold a fake pair of sneakers?
Kind of half of that, I guess. I ordered a pair from StockX, and they shipped to be verified, and they didn't pass verification. So I don't know if that counts. But no, I can't say that. Most of my sneakers came directly from the retailer.
What is wrong with fake sneakers? I've had some fake J's in my life. From perception, perception's everything. So they look real from far away.
Oh.
So you get up close. Why can't I just own a fake pair of sneakers without being judged?
I have a friend who actually like found this guy, I think he's from Japan, who like makes fakes, but they're like spot on. You can't even tell. Maybe like one little stitch. And so he got like the off-white Chicago ones, the Carolina ones, the all-white European ones that came out. He got the Fear God ones. All these, and they're all fake. And so he would text me because he worked right next door to where I worked when before my job moved, and he would be like, "Yo, wear these shoes tomorrow. I want to compare them." So I wear the real ones, and he'd wear the fakes. And honestly, you couldn't tell.
Wow.
Like you had to like get a magnifying glass out to see.
But what is it about sneakerheads that they just look down on people with fake shoes? Like,
I think it's just like a morality thing, and like if you identify as a sneakerhead, you like want to be able I guess like for me, I'm always terrified, like what if I go out somewhere and there's someone who really knows every little detail and they call me out and I'm like ruined, and that's for me. I'm just paranoid.
Like the real sneakerheads and the fake sneakerheads live by the same code. Like it's all about perception. So they want to look cool in the shoes. So it's like just come together, accept each other.
Yeah.
Because there's more fake shoes than
It
real
won't
ones, I
happen,
feel.
I don't know. What's your most prized sneaker to you in your collection?
Oof, So my first pair ever was the Iverson Answer 4s.
Those are the gold in it or something?
I think the 4s, were the ones with the zipper coming up. They're like red and gray. And then the 5s. I might have these in reverse. The 5s were the ones, they had them in like white with the red like thing over top of the toes, and then they also had them in black with the silver. Those are my first ones. So I'd say those are my most prized because that's kind of what got me into sneakers. But currently I have the off-white European ones, and I love them.
Is there a price that you just won't pay for sneakers, or is the sky the limit with sneakers?
In the past, the sky was the limit.
Okay.
Now that
Definitely.
I'm trying to be more financially responsible,
And Colin will put his foot down.
I won't go over, maybe like a little bit over
$250.
retail, yeah.
A little bit over
Like
retail.
retail's
That's
okay
it.
with me.
What's retail?
Wait, yeah?
Retail's okay with me.
No, yeah. Okay.
What's like the
We'll see.
average retail price nowadays? Like,
Depends. Like for Jordans, it's what, like 190, I would say. 180.
Sure.
120 for like some Nike sportswear, like Air Maxes, to 160, depending on the style, I think.
yeah.
The Swarovski Air Max 97s, they retail for 400.
I bought a pair of the Air Max 95s. I think they were like I got them for like 130, and I was like, I felt guilty like giving my money. I'm like, this feels like too much,
Yeah.
But I guess for some people who have it and they love it, it's nothing.
Do you have a sneaker that you bought multiples of because you just couldn't live with that particular style and sneaker? Like you just have it, the same particular sneaker, same style, same color.
I don't have any dead stock sneakers. I wear all of them. I think the only ones just like white Uptowns. Like I'll get those just like fresh pair and wear them.
I don't know
But-
what they are. I feel so lame.
I may judge you depending on this answer.
Oh God.
Have you ever taken a photo with your tongue on the bottom of the sneaker?
No.
Okay.
I have not.
Thank God. Why do people do that? Is there an answer to that?
Just be an extra.
Yeah, I don't know. We should ask anyone if you're listening to this.
No.
Why do you do it?
I'm blocking you. If you message the podcast after this and you answer that you've done that, I'm blocking you. I don't want to
I
hear.
don't know if anybody else can see it, but it's been like staring at me. So you have a Nike swoosh in your mouth, girl. People,
do.
the dopeness of this girl right now is
cool.
killing me.
Okay, I can't. Okay, I didn't notice that till just now. That's commitment.
Yeah.
Why?
Checks over stripes.
Sex overs. Damn.
Yeah, I love Nike.
Do they know how much they you love them?
Yeah,
They need to know.
They know.
Good to know.
I'm just like, hey, I'm here again. Hey guys.
So I guess your goal is is one of your goals maybe to just work with them? Was like a
Yeah.
real main passion of yours?
Yeah.
Design your own sneaker, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think a dream job would be, and I don't even know if this position exists because I know at Nike they have people just who like design like shoelaces, like it's insane.
Let me get to Nike.
But I think working like as a liaison between like a nonprofit and Nike to do more like community outreach and giving back, kind of combining the two into one would be really cool.
If you had the
That's
opportunity,
super dope.
yeah, right. If you had the opportunity though, like you're at a crossroads between remaining as a therapist and having your dream job at Nike, whatever, could you make that choice?
Yeah, I think I would go with Nike, but then do a private practice on the side.
It's either one or the other. I was kind of making like ultimatums.
she
like
gotta
that.
make
But
her
if you
own
could
way.
be a therapist for all Nike employees.
That would be cool too.
They probably need a
In-house
therapist.
for real, in-house therapy.
Therapist for
Right.
sneakerheads. Every time you take an L on the sneakers app,
Yeah.
that's like it's.
By the way, you're giving me like Missy vibes right now. What's going on with you?
Missy?
Yeah.
For
It's
real?
the hat. Ignore him.
Could
yeah.
be.
I'm sorry. I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks. I miss you.
Oh, I miss you
Are
too.
you good?
I mean, all black like an omen.
Do you want to share what happened?
No.
Okay, got it. How often do you both of you, question both of you, are you guys in tune with what goes on in the world, either like politically, media-wise, and does that affect your conscience in any way? Or do
Is
you-
that a swatch?
This
Yes.
no.
Oh, shit.
Damn it. If she would have had a swatch here, I'd just be like, you know what, girl? Like, leave Colin. Come on, let's go. It's time to go.
I thought that was like a Nike watch.
Time to
or
go.
something. You know, Nike had watches now too. Like,
Nixon, is that how you say it? I don't know. I just like the color.
yeah, but how in tune with you guys with like politics and just in general the media? Like, do you follow?
I try. I can't say that I do. I think for me that's a boundary I set for myself. I think if I get too invested in that, it's gonna be. I'm gonna over explode of like trauma and things that are going on.
Right.
I mean, I do definitely watch the news every morning, and I try to stay in tune with what's going on locally here. And as far as like seeing on social media, on Twitter, like headlines of what's going on, and if something's interesting to me, I'll like read into it. But yeah, I don't go. I'm not like every morning like, oh, let me see what's going on in the world. I mean, I should do it more, but I think for me, it's just like if something serious is going on, I don't want to get too invested in it. It's just going to cause me more stress than it would, and then have to go to work and deal with more stress. And yeah.
Are you religious in any way?
I mean, I'm baptized as Christian. This is a tough question because my family's probably going to listen to this. Yeah, I mean, I believe in God, but I also have a very scientific background being a biology major, so I always am on the fence sometimes about, I understand the science behind how the earth was formed and how people were here. But my cousin, my mom's twin son, is a pastor, and his wife is a pastor. So when I'm home in PA,
So do you have like a theory in your head of like how we all came to be?
I definitely believe the scientific theory.
What is that exactly? For
Just
the listeners?
basically like all the elements, like I think it's CHNOPS, CHNOPS, if I can recall right from bio, like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, something sulfur, I don't know. Basically kind of got together in like the mix of the plant, like the galaxy, and then like formed Earth. And then
I read something like that too, but like it was like primordial soup theory or something like that.
That's
like,
it.
That's super interesting, but weird as hell. I don't know. I've been like looking into more theories and stuff on creation because like I'm always curious why we have the interests we have, why we are the way we are, and I feel like the only way to get the true answer is if we want it is to go back. But there's no really like pinpoint book or period in time we can look back into. Am I the only one who does this? Am I like the only weirdo who looks? I know you. Yeah, you do. I know you do.
Definitely not the only
You just
weirdo.
like me. I know you do it.
I do it all the time.
What
But
did you
it was to
learn?
the point where I had to like stop myself one time because I went too far deep into the rabbit hole.
Right.
When it was just like, you know what, you're not supposed to know everything, Jesus. Like you're not supposed to,
But I wanted to know.
and that's our problem.
How do I stop wanting to know?
When you get too far deep into the rabbit hole, where you have to crawl yourself back up out of it.
Do you think there's going to be a point in time where like we'll just someone will have figured it all out?
I think there's somebody
People
who
have.
has, people who have figured it out.
There's this creepy dude in the world. I just heard about him recently through Joe Rogan, Alex Jones.
Yeah,
He's
God.
super like
He's been creepy.
theory man 101. Like he's a creep. I don't know how he knows all
Yeah,
this, but
he thought like Sandy Hook was a hoax.
Hoax, yeah.
yeah.
Like that's, I don't know. That's fucked up.
Oh, I heard about that hoax thing. We're not talking about that. Yeah, it's one of
But
the
yeah,
it's one of
you
those
should
things.
give him a call. Get Alex Jones in your office.
He needs someone.
Evaluate that man.
Yeah.
He needs to
Please.
talk through some issues.
Talk to
definitely.
someone else but Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
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 I'm a huge advocate for like introspection. I believe we all need to check ourselves in the mirror sometimes and just say, "Yo, you need to change this." I was curious if you guys can individually and collectively identify what you need to change individually and in your relationship. Do you think to go forward in your lives in the rest of 2019?
Individual. Want to do individual first?
What a joke. To go back to Joe Rogan, he always talks about like DMT and ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I would be down for that
Yeah.
so quick.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
He's definitely down. He's trying to recruit people.
Let's do a
Yeah.
live, do like a live show. Let's do
You know,
a
it was just so
live
funny. I just watched this this YouTube video, and these guys did LSD, and they recorded it for us. And I watched it, and I was just like, I don't think I'm ready for that. Like, he
There's-
kept saying stuff, and the thing I just said, yo, I have to be with people I trust to make sure I don't jump out a window or something.
Yeah.
I gotta start listening to Joe Rogan because I was listening to him earlier, and there was this guy on there. He was talking about there's a group of people in London trying to explore the realm that DMT creates for you to help kind of like figure out because apparently it takes you to like a different place. So,
Yeah, apparently you won't see the world or anything the same after that.
Right.
What's your hardest drug experience?
Just Molly. That's it. It's the
Like
hardest.
the pill?
Back in the day, yeah. Well, when it was ecstasy.
What's yours? I don't even know y'all. Like, I'm just curious. Sorry. Like,
What drugs have you done?
yeah. You're just not gonna.
No.
Got it. Everyone's dodging questions. You guys dodge the self-introspection question.
their
well,
prerogative.
I was.
Like, is there
'Cause
any?
I don't know because like that's the thing. I feel like that's my struggle, I guess. Like if I get down about myself, I'm like, what am I? What's my purpose? Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I taking photos of people on the street?
Yeah.
It's like, why am I working 9 to 6 when I don't want to? So that's the struggle. I don't know.
Are you happy though? Like when you're asking these
Yeah.
questions,
I guess I think so, but that's the thing. I don't know.
you don't.
But
know.
I think I like yeah. Like if
He's
it was
figuring
like
it
if-
out.
But if
Yeah,
it was
he's
like
figuring
check
it
yes or
out.
no, I would check yes.
Yeah.
But is it yes? I don't know.
You got me think like.
Chandler.
A thinking
I-
mind is a healthy mind. If
I
you're
feel like it's
questioning
so-
things, it's still good.
It's so easy to just say yes.
Right.
Right. Because I'm alive. I don't know. Whatever technology, and I'm just doing the things that
I
like
get what
everybody
you're saying,
does.
though, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like yeah, cool. It's happy. Yeah.
But do you feel like some sort of
But-
void? I guess like when something's missing. Like you're doing things that are getting you ahead in life in some way, financially, whatever,
Right.
passion-wise. But do you feel like there's something else you should
Yeah,
be doing that you
it's
can't
like,
explain?
Is this what I should be doing? I guess that's the question. It's like, should I be doing something else? Could I be having more fun? Could I be seeing more things?
May I ask what you do full time? What do you, like your job? What's your job?
Just marketing.
Oh, just marketing.
Yeah. So it's like I'm obsessed with like Planet Earth, like the show.
Yeah.
I smoke weed and I watch Planet Earth at night after Liz falls asleep. And I'm like, why am I sitting in bed high watching this TV show? And why can't I like what's the issue? What's the gap? I see all the people on Instagram, they go and see these places.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need to
Why
start
can't-
traveling.
But yeah,
Maybe
that's
your
the thing.
answer's in traveling.
That's the thing. I'm like, why don't I? So that's I guess that's the issue. I'm like, why don't I do that?
Have you felt like this prior to 2019, or does it just?
That's the thing. That's why I'm starting to hate social media.
Mm.
Yeah, because like probably the past year and a half, 2 years. Yeah, but
So like, did you? What were some goals for yourself coming into 2019 to figure that out, or just go with the flow?
yeah, I guess to figure it out. I don't know, and yeah, that's the thing. Like I set a lot of goals for myself that I don't really tend to act on all of them, but I make a lot of goals and I act on some of them, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate I don't know. I'm just figuring it out.
I hate what social
That's
media
like the
does.
most
it's
honest
so-
answer
it's-
you could
it's-
ever
it's
say.
just
Like,
like,
just
no,
being
like,
honest. You
I
just
respect
figured
it.
it out, yeah.
I kind of relate to you in a way. Like
Yeah.
you feel like you're doing stuff to, get you through the day, but
Right.
is it enough? Is it what you should be doing?
There was like a SpongeBob episode with Squidward doing the same thing in like his Happyville every day.
You
And
were
then
definitely
as
high
each
watching this too, huh?
But that's why I
But-
get it, because there be certain things you're watching under the influence, whatever
Yeah.
the case is, but you see it so much clearer than you ever would before, because it's like speaking to your situation. It's like, you know what, I get it, Patrick. I get it, Squidward. Like,
yeah, but like Squidward, it would
I
show him
get
doing the
it.
same things every day, and like each day that passed, he would get his smile would turn to a frown.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, I'm on the same subway every day.
Yeah.
What? It's just the routine.
You
is
gotta
the
start breaking up the
killer.
routine. And I think
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
really gets people down, is when you start entering a routine that you don't even like yourself, and you just like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what, but I have a job. I remember one time when I was working, and my 9 to 5, I'll never forget, it was the summertime, and I'm just like, well, I went to work today. What the fuck else I'm gonna do? Well, why not go downtown and go get drink? Well, go get some drinks with my friends. It's like, why not break it up? Because it's just like, all I really do is go to work and come home. Go to work and come home.
Sure.
Complacency,
But-
like why change what makes us feel comfortable?
Yeah.
But that's
thing
the
is-
problem.
that's
we
not
can't
a-
get
yeah.
too comfortable off of nothing.
But yeah, I broke that. Like I before work, like a couple times a week, I try to go and like take photos before work, and then we get home and like we go out to dinner often, or like I go out to drinks with my buddies. It's like I'm not just like waking up, going to work, coming back, going to
Yeah.
sleep.
You ever read The
So
Alchemist?
it's- no.
Read The Alchemist.
I heard it was good, but I haven't.
I think I think you both. I think especially him. I think you probably both need to read it, and then that question you keep asking yourself
Yeah.
is gonna like manifest itself in the book to you.
Cool.
Because
Alright.
I feel like the whole book is about like everybody has a purpose in life, and when you don't know your purpose in life, you're gonna get bored with that routine of what am I doing? What else is there for me? Because you haven't yet figured out your purpose.
Umar just recommended this to us the other week. That's weird that you say that.
You know,
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
happens for
Somebody
a
else
reason.
suggested
No,
Yeah.
that's weird.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's all about finding your
Okay.
purpose in life. And once you find
Thank
your
you.
purpose in life, things starts to get a little easier. And, you start to see a clearer path of where you need to be and what kind of journey you need to be on. But start asking, like, you're asking yourself the most important questions, and you're asking yourself, like, why am I feeling this way? What am I doing? What's, like, you're just unhappy right now. Let me not say that. You're bored, probably. Not even unhappy. You're probably just bored.
Yeah.
I'm desperately trying to get out of my my 9 to 5, whatever, like, because it's just not for me. I don't enjoy it anymore. Like, I kind of really got into the profession just off, like, my mom had a similar path, so I figured, like, why not? It's easy position. It's, like, not easy, but, like, it's good money. And, yeah, I don't know if I necessarily figured out my purpose. I know what I do here on this podcast I really enjoy. I know the main purpose is to help. Just a little background, like, I created this show because podcasts were escape for me for depression. So, like, when I get that light again, I wanted to kind of create a platform and be that same escape for other people. But even then, I don't know if I'm even, one, affecting people's consciousness like I want to, two, reaching the amount of years that I think I should be reaching, and three, if I'm even making a difference. So, like, I'm kind of having that constant battle in my head if I even, is it worth it?
And it all comes down to, like, how do you measure that for yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own ways of measuring things and figuring out if they're making progress or not. And
I measure my journey compared to other people so many times. Like,
Don't do that.
I'm sure if you guys can relate to that.
yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like that's what everybody, that's where we tend to go wrong. But we're human, so we can't get upset about the things that we do because we're flawed in our own right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you have to take ownership of your flaws. Some flaws, yes, get rid of them. But some flaws you really can't get rid of. Like, that's they're a part of you.
They build character.
Yeah,
Some of them.
yeah. So
Not all of them. Some of them.
Can you identify a flaw that you hold on to?
I am an overthinker like nobody's business. But you know what? Let me say this real quick because I may overthink, but that's because God be giving me signals and signs and be showing me things. So it's not my fault I'm onto your bullshit, okay? Thank you.
Are they listening right now?
It's just one of those things. Like,
Gotcha.
if they do listen to this episode, like, don't be mad at me because I know you're bullshit.
What are some flaws that you hold on to, do you think?
Not speaking up when I know what I need to say. Sometimes I'll just hold it in because I either don't want to offend anybody or I just don't want to rub people the wrong way. So.
Why? Like, is it?
Well, that's what I'm figuring out. I think it's just sort of how I've grown up. I was always conditioned to kind of bottle up what I'm feeling, and then on top of that, being
behavior is real.
Yeah, on top of that, being emotional, but at the same time trying to control the emotions, but then being conditioned to not show emotion. So it's just like coming out of that and out of other people's influence and. Just being more comfortable in speaking up when I know that I should and not hold it back.
Can you identify a flaw that you may have that you want to work on and possibly get rid of?
Yeah. So, like, we were talking before about how I try to, like, please everyone.
Yeah.
So when I do get mad and I need to take it out on someone, instead of making someone else that I don't really know mad, I take it out on, like, the people closest to me. Colin gets a lot of it. My mom, my dad, yeah, those people pretty much. So that's definitely something I need to work on.
How do you react during those moments? I mean, do you understand that it's like not on purpose that she's doing it? And
Yeah, I mean, no, but I've gotten better. Like, I've definitely gotten better, I think, I hope. Like, as, I can see it coming. Like, if something, I like learning to what bugs her, I can get a better read of when she's going to react on something. So then I have to, like, prepare myself because, like I said before, if someone comes at me, then I'll, like, go right back at them. Like, if, she just snaps at me quick, like, I'll be quick to just, like, say something right back when I should know that, like, all right, I know, like, this is her just, like,
venting
doing
or
her
whatever.
thing,
Yeah.
venting, yeah. And, yeah, there are times where, like, it's been a while since, like, we've done this. Like, she vents, and I start, like, arguing with her. She's like, yo, I'm venting. Just let me vent. I'm like, okay, cool. I get it.
I've heard this so many times. I see my life in you, too. I've heard this so many times.
Like, stop trying to fix things. Just let us say what we
Yeah,
have to say.
I don't know how to shut up.
Just shut up. Because you know what? Sometimes I feel like men, y'all have this thing where y'all just know everything. Like, well, maybe if you didn't say it like that, shut the fuck up, okay? When I came in, I said it how I said it. Now, if she didn't respond the way, like, that's not my problem.
But I'm just trying to help.
But we're trying.
But let the venting cease first.
Let us vent,
and
let them
then
vent it all out.
Some of y'all got long-winded stories.
That's
like,
right.
we
So
just-
what?
this just
Don't
gets-
matter.
Okay.
Yo, My ex-wife used to come in the house, I swear to Jesus, for 2 hours. I was sitting there as she talked about her bullshit-ass supervisor, the commute home, and the commute home story. Oh, my God. I felt like she was taking digs at me. Yeah, because you want to live in fucking Queens and da-da-da-da-da. And it's just like, yeah, but you're here, right, boo? Like, you thirsty? Like, can we not do this? But it was every night. And it got to the point where I was just, because at first I was just like, but you know, if you, and she would just get so mad at me. I would just say, you know what, just let this girl talk for 2 hours. Half the time I'm not even listening. It's just like, yeah, but you let, word, like, just let them go. 2 hours. Because they tire themselves out, trust me.
They lose steam after a while.
That's the
Yeah, I want to get to that point of tiredness. That's when they just, you know, give you the advice, give you the gems.
No, they're gonna try. Just let them talk. Cause when they also, once you finish, they finish. Even I have done it. Once I finish, it's like, oh my God, you sat there the whole time. You hungry? Like, what you need?
Oh, the food is like the out for like a venting session too. It's like, oh, you hungry? You just want to go out to eat? Cool. We'll talk about it later. The food in the stomach. You fall asleep. Oh, I ain't shit. I'm sorry.
Look at that.
What goals did you come into 2019 with that you want to set for yourself? And have you accomplished any so far?
I mean, yeah, I think I have. I've definitely accomplished some so far. So I find because of the stress of my job, if I don't keep myself busy and I don't do like working out and things I need to do to stay mentally healthy, that's when I start taking it out on everyone else. So I think for me, I'm doing a better job this year of like working out. We recently got bikes, so I'm gonna start biking to work.
Nice.
Yeah, I go to boxing classes. I try to spend more time with friends, trying to, just keep myself busy and keep myself in a good mental attitude, less negative thinking, more positive thinking. So I'm pushing myself more for that kind of stuff this year. Also, like, studying my ass off because I want to take my licensing exam in July when I can.
And she's gonna pass the test.
Pass,
For sure.
hopefully. So.
You better stop talking back too. She boxes now, bro. Like, you better be careful what you say. You better be careful what you say.
Yeah, like sometimes I joke, I put my hands up to like have her like hit him and like it hurts.
Yeah.
He's good.
You mentioned you're like a content creator. Like, what content do you create?
I don't know. I post photos of my shoes and my outfits and some mental health stuff here or there. That's what I would say. I don't know what that term is.
Good content, though.
That is.
I was all on her profile. It's really great.
People love it.
That's the hardest thing for me is I don't consider myself an influencer. I'd rather be a person that's influential, that makes a difference, a positive difference.
That's your new catchphrase. Not an
like
influencer,
that.
but
I like
influential.
that. Write that down.
Soundbite. Do you have to be like even to go to work, like, because you have to be in a certain space to fully comprehend what your clients are saying to you. Mm-hmm. If you feel stressed one morning, can you just call out and just not go, or do you have to fight through that?
I have to fight through it.
And how is that difficult?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have a really good support system at my job. I have a lot of really great coworkers that I can talk to about stuff, and they'll help me calm the hell down, which is nice. So yeah, it's good. And I think I've gotten to the point where I know those days. I know what routine I have to go to like get myself into a good headspace to be a good therapist for my clients. And I think it's just kind of like I put on a playlist as soon as I get into work. I have a Keurig in my office. I brew my coffee. And I think that like little just things like that like help me feel like more put together and like ready to like take on that day. So, yeah.
Someone's about to say something.
I was good. When you had said that you create content, you feel like that's not really nothing. I feel like that is something. When you're doing something that you're so passionate about that you really love, everything will just start to come to you. So don't ever feel like you have an Instagram and you just putting shit together and nobody's taking notice, because people are definitely taking notice.
Thank you. Yeah.
So just I love her profile. So yes.
You follow?
Yes. I click follow.
You gonna follow back?
Yeah.
It's not about the follow back.
I wouldn't follow back. You might see some shit on there.
No, my biggest thing is like I feel bad. Like I'll go out and people will say, "Hey, like I follow you," and I'm like, shit. Like tell me your Instagram name. I know you by your Instagram name. I probably don't know you by your full name.
Yeah.
People don't really put their full names on their Instagram.
Hell no. You're gonna get my at name.
I'm not really for that follow for follow culture.
So,
I feel like follow what you really have interest in. So that way, if you just following everybody who follows you, your shit's gonna be so cluttered. You're gonna have everybody's all crazy energies and shit. I really only follow things that make me feel happy.
No, if you're
No,
like,
you have to.
if you constantly hitting the like, yeah, I might hit you with a follow back. If that like button's constantly hit, I
That's-
might hit
that's-
you with a
that's-
follow
that's-
back.
That's how they get you, right? When they be liking everything, they be like,
That's how they reel you in.
They
That's
get
how
me.
they reel you in, yo. That like.
Then they like all the pictures. They wait till you follow them. Then they unfollow.
Yep,
And
show
you
no
don't
support.
you don't notice until you see them on your timeline.
That's it.
Y'all fake as hell, yo. Fuck y'all social media. Y'all are so fake.
what I'm
Social
saying.
media.
Right. We hate social media.
That's why
It's a love-hate.
You're supposed to let social media work for you. I
It's a
feel
love-hate
like.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got all the keys. What happened to you? Where you get all this information?
All the keys. That's what listen. I used to be one. I used to date certain people and cannot stand to follow them on social media because you know how you'll know them one way
Yeah.
and then
They'll
you
be a
see
different
them on
way.
social media. You be
Yes.
like, my G, you are not really popping all this. Okay, whatever. So it got to the point where it was just like, I don't care how much I love you. I won't follow you if you're talking bullshit. Like, if I feel like you're not living your authentic life, I will not
You
follow.
shouldn't.
That follow means something to you, it seems like. It's more than just a follow.
Because you take on all of that junk, all that cyber junk. So if everything on your whole social media spread is just lies and you're just trying to keep up with the Joneses or you're just yourself a trending topic yourself, I don't know.
There's no substance.
That's
That
why,
happens
that's why
so
there's
much.
a shade room. If I want to know what's going on, you follow the shade room. If I don't want to hear every story, I can mute certain shit.
Heard
Mute,
you.
mute.
So I'm just giving out too many follows nowadays, huh?
You know, you follow for what you want to follow for, but all I'm saying is don't follow just because you feel you have to follow so somebody can
Yeah.
follow you and you can get ahead in the social structure of social media.
Heard you.
Don't get caught up in the hype. It's all still the Matrix.
You guys both mentioned your love for music. Do you have a particular type of music that's like your go-to?
Well, right now for call, it's Billie Eilish. She's been
Yo.
watching like
Oh.
interviews of her, and I was kind of concerned. I'm like, why are you into this 17-year-old so much? But
She's dope.
no, she's cool. I love the 1975. They're my favorite band ever.
Word.
So them are my go-tos.
I'm all over the place. I'm like more of an indie or rock or I don't know. Like I love Tame Impala right now. I mean, I don't know, something about them. Yeah, I don't know. Like I love like we used to go to like 2 shows a week, 2 small concerts a week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and like both super into music. But yeah, like the Coachella thing. Can we talk about Coachella?
Sure.
Yeah. This is your show, man.
Go-
This
no,
is
that-
your show.
I want to vent a little bit about
I
Coachella.
used to like in college, I would like sit with my buddies, drink beer, and like watch like the live stream in like 2011, 2012, and it was purely music, just music.
Yeah.
There was no like the YouTube with like the vlogs and the influencers and all that crap. Like, do you have any thoughts on that? Because I hate
What
it.
happened to that?
Yeah, it's just like it's Coachella
The
now. It's
commercial.
more about the
Personality.
and
yeah.
it's so
Yeah,
fake
the
to me.
image.
It's so fake to me.
Well, Coachella wasn't like hip hop oriented mostly back
No.
in the day, wasn't it? It was
That's
mostly just
true,
a rock
true.
thing. So
Yeah.
I think the
You had like a
takeover,
splatter of like maybe 3 or maybe 2, if any.
because that's all there was back then. Hip hop is undeniable right now, so I feel that's kind of plays a part in it because hip hop is like it's very trendy. It
Yeah.
influences everything nowadays.
Right.
That and just like everyone, like these influencers bring in a lot of money from like these sponsorships and stuff like that, and that attention transfers over to Coachella. It possibly gets them to get sponsorship for their event.
Sure.
So it's all about money at the end of the day, in my opinion. Money and
Yeah.
attention.
I think it's sad though.
It is.
It's like ruining the culture of like what Coachella once was.
Have
I
you
don't know.
been to Coachella ever?
No. And like
And
that's what he's never
no,
gonna
but
go now.
I wanted
Yeah.
to, so and that was like the number one thing on my bucket list, like back then. But
Yeah.
now it's like
Time has passed.
no thanks.
By the way, rock is like dead too. Like
It
there's
is,
no
I know.
good new.
Yeah.
It's super sad.
My favorite, like not favorite rock band, but like one of my favorite rock bands that I remember was kind of like popish. Was like Yellow Card.
Like Dale Carter.
They were like the last of like the Mohegans.
like
I feel
punk,
Green Day.
There's some
Right.
bands
Yeah.
out there. but
Fallout
I
Boy.
Yeah.
Like who's headline? Like Tame Impala, I guess headlined Coachella, but like
Yeah.
for Governor's Ball, it's like the Strokes are headlining a day. But it's like it's,
What?
yeah.
Are you familiar with the band Him? They're from Finland.
Oh my, that's who Bam Margera
Yeah,
used to
Bam.
like,
Yeah.
right?
It's
With
my-
Cartogram.
Yeah.
Besides the Doors, that's my favorite band of all
Yeah.
time.
Really?
Yeah, man. Jim Morrison.
Wow.
He was an interesting guy, but he's like definitely one of my influences,
Cool.
idols growing up, I guess.
Cool.
I'm sorry. Did you guys know that about me? I like love,
That's awesome.
What?
like the Doors. And
No. Didn't know that. Just learned something new.
Learn something very new.
Makes a
Never
lot
would've
of
thought it.
sense.
We're getting to know each other. Wait, what?
Makes a lot of sense.
Oh, my whole infatuation with psychedelics and Jim Morrison.
Ah.
No, yeah, maybe that's what it is, but it makes sense now. Like, okay.
Now we get it.
Yo,
Now I get
I
it.
saw one of the Doors movies. They did like I think Acid in the Desert. It looks so cool. Like I want to do that so bad. Just take me to a desert, somebody.
You want to live in that era, is what it is. I think, right?
We
I
would
think
have-
I think I belong
if
back
Jeff
then.
Yeah.
lived in that era,
No.
we would not. Jeff would not be seeing his grandkids.
Fuck no. I would have died like at like 26. No, 20.
27.
27
Yeah.
club.
27
Definitely,
Club.
though, because if I was in the Billie Holiday era, I would have died with the greatest of them too, probably.
Do you guys feel like your spirits are meant for different eras? Do you feel like you belong in this era? I mean, you sound like you hate this young shit.
Dude, that's I don't like it at all.
He
Like,
does. He's like an
bring me-
old man.
Like I want to be like in the 80s.
Nice.
You
Just
definitely belong in
80s.
the 80s.
It's like Shea Stadium, Budweiser's, and just like I don't know.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. The shit was raw. I feel like
You hate the
like
kids, man.
Metallica and like Van
Yeah.
Halen. I don't know.
That was some good times, I feel.
What about you? What's your era? If you had to pick one.
I would say the 20s.
Nice.
20s,
Yeah.
Mm.
20s
I love
to 50s.
The Great Gatsby.
You would hate the 20s.
Why? It was a crazy time.
Prohibition, all
Yeah.
those
I
like
probably would have
speakeasies,
been a
that'd be
slave,
so
but
cool.
yeah.
Drinking
Oh, yeah.
illegally, like yeah. I mean, as kids we did that anyways. The real version
As
would have
an
been pretty more
adult.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
But the fashion back then too.
Yeah.
So you like The Great Gatsby?
I love it.
Did you like the movie more or the book?
The book, but the movie was good. I don't know. I like the book. I mean, always the book, but
I've never read the book. I saw it.
I had
I
to
never
read
read
it
the
in like
book. I
8th
always saw the
grade.
movie.
It was like one of our required readings, and that was the only one I actually did. So that's how I knew I liked it. That's the other ones I didn't.
Oh, so you only did it because you had to?
Well, I started reading it and I couldn't stop.
Heard you.
But like I think some of the other ones were like To Kill a Mockingbird, Catcher in the Rye, and like I spark noted all of those.
Got it.
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Catching the Ride was boring.
What's one thing you guys hate about New York and one thing you really love about it?
I really love the people, because where I'm from in PA is literally middle of nowhere. Like during the election, so when we were driving home during that time for holidays or whatever, like I have a very like Republican just area, I guess you can say. Like
Yeah.
everyone there had like vote Trump, and like I'm completely opposite politically, and it was hard to go home to that, like especially being away and being in New York, where like it's so cool, like you can get on the subway and go anywhere and learn something here. In my hometown, you can't. Everyone's so confined, so closed-minded.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. There's literally a guy who had a sign in his front yard that said "Vote Trump or I'll punch you in the face."
Yeah.
Not even joking.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to walk up onto his like
And punch
patio
him
and
in
just
the
like
face.
punch him in the face, because I was
And
like,
his
what the
kid.
hell?
And his kid.
But no, it's just like I don't know. Like I love my family. I love my friends that are still there. But that area is just somewhere I don't think I'd ever want to go back to. Because people are just stuck in like a bubble. It's like a black hole. Like if you don't get out of it after college or after high school even, you're kind of trapped there. And it's
Is your family on the Republican side?
it's split. It's split. My grandmother is. My mom and my dad aren't. My cousin's not. It's just like the older generation.
I was gonna say generational, yeah.
I feel like I said the Republican side, like that's like the solely bad side. Like there's bad people on the Democrats too. It's just, I guess from my perception, it's all bad all around. It's really interesting though.
So what do you hate?
What I hate about New York? I hate a few things. I hate when it smells like garbage in summer.
Yeah.
Hot garbage.
Something to look forward to.
I hate the urgency. I think it gives me a lot of anxiety. Definitely contributes to it. Like the people not having patience and people just like being
Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
Yeah, that like
I told a
the
guy,
way.
excuse me today, and he was like, get out of my way. Like, I told you, excuse me, you were in the fucking way.
Yeah.
Like, people have no fucking...
that's
Some of y'all walk too slow though. I can't.
No, he
I ain't
really
gonna lie,
was.
like,
He really was.
Y'all really walk.
He
really
really
too
was.
slow
But the
sometimes.
audacity, I'm like, dude, I could have said fuck you, like, or push you out of the way. I said, excuse me. The fuck?
Sorry, you had to
My
experience
venting. I'm done.
that. What do you love and hate about New York, sir?
I love just how unique it is. Unique New York is the thing, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, you can see it. Like we have a beach like a half hour away. We have Central Park, which is whatever. It's like the wilderness for us.
The great outdoors.
Like we have you can take a train upstate. You can go anywhere. You can see anything. You can see any type of person. That's kind of it.
Any type of
I don't know.
food,
It's like the best. Like,
Yeah.
and where else?
any
would
type
you
of
live?
music, the
Yeah.
bands.
And we have the seas. Like where else would you live? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Where
like
else
You shouldn't live
live
anywhere
because
else.
the thing is like Liz, she tried to like push Philly a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm all for Philly.
It's cool.
But then, like, we went the other week for a Monday to Wednesday trip at like at a hotel. It was a lovely stay, but it's just like things open at noon, and then like bars
Oh,
close
gosh.
11. It's like it's like we
Yeah.
would get so tired of that.
I have one issue with Philly. Why do they have a statue of Rocky if Sylvester Stallone's not from Philly?
Right.
It's not.
It's
It's not
the
even a real
steps in the
character.
movie.
Well, Rocky
Yeah,
was,
he's
wasn't
not
he?
real.
The character.
But it's not like
It's corny.
Philly.
All right.
It's like I don't know.
I'm not bashing
Hey,
Philly. I
Shut
want
your
to.
mouth.
I like Philly.
And where else in New York can you see the biggest like rats ever?
True.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you're
Lovely.
into that. I don't know. One last
Crunch.
question, and we can get out of here. It's really, really hot. And say tomorrow, both of you get like a massive amount of followers. You get that blue check on social media that gives you access to anyone that you could possibly want to work with, just grab tea with. Is there anyone in particular you guys would choose?
No, I don't know. I'll go for I don't know. I'll let
I
you.
have two people.
Okay, never mind.
The head of Nike.
No. Kanye. I would love to just pick his brain for
Good luck.
an hour.
Good luck.
And who else would it be? Maddie Healy from 1975, the lead singer, just because I love them.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
I'll
have
just
I don't
drool.
know. I don't have anybody. I don't think.
Do
I
you like
do.
anyone?
No.
Damn.
But that's it. Like, I don't know how to choose. I guess, I don't know, the lead of, like, a band that I like, the lead member of, like, this band Waves I like. I don't know.
I get it.
I've loved him loved the band for a while.
It's a stupid
He's, like, a
question.
big
I'm still
influence.
working on my interview
No,
style.
it's like,
No.
no, dude, it's a good
It's
question.
interesting.
It's a good, like, everybody
Yeah.
should have that answer.
That one person they all.
Yeah, how about you guys? Go around.
I got.
Come on.
Wait, to
See?
work with or shoot my shot at? Because there's a long list.
No, just to have a coffee. And you can do whatever you want.
Coffee.
Ava DuVernay or Mahershala Ali.
Damn.
I love them. They're great human beings. To shoot my shot at is a different story, but anyone?
Coffee.
I would like to sit down and talk to Spike Lee.
You guys are the same height. You guys have a good conversation.
I'm taller than him. Number one. Okay.
Lainey?
Everybody I would have a conversation with that is dead. Like, but I would love to have tea with Nina Simone or Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt would be interesting.
Especially Eartha. Like, tell me why I shouldn't compromise again, girl.
She had a threesome. Who did she have a threesome with? They said the other day. Damn, I
Everybody.
forgot the names, but it was
Threesomes.
interesting as hell. Let me tell you.
I want to find
Oh,
out.
Damn,
no.
with two dudes. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
no.
Two guys.
Is that-
What was I thinking about?
Marlon Brando, and I forget the other guy. I forget the
Was
other
it Richard
guy.
Pryor? Because they was
No.
all, you know, if Richard was fucking Marlon, then I could see Eartha being
No,
like,
Richard was
I love it.
bisexual.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm saying, like,
but-
fuck it, just have it all up.
Marlon Brando. Who was the other guy? I can't remember.
We'll figure it out next
But
episode.
who was that Jackie said slapped her? She was like, you sleeping with my husband? She was like, I used to be
Yes,
sleeping with your
Jackie
husband.
Harris said that she ran to Eartha Kitt one
Yes,
time
and Eartha
and
Kitt-
realized that she was sleeping with her boyfriend. She didn't know it was her. You know, he had other
And
people,
Eartha
whatever.
smacked her.
And she slapped the fire out her.
That's a lot of tea for the end of the podcast. Jesus Christ. I kind of want to. It's like, is there any more like y'all want to let off your chest? Like, y'all had a moment right quick.
That's that old school gossip.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's who I would talk to. Nina and
Dope.
Eartha.
So
Maybe Tyler though. Tyler the
creator?
Yeah, I think he's a wild one.
Hell yeah.
And I've been obsessed with
Yeah.
him forever.
yeah.
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 About him.
Like he's beyond music at this point.
Right.
Like he's not even rapper to me. He's
Right.
creative.
So that's it.
Cool.
But I'm just scared, like people. I don't know. I feel like I would be let down. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
you-
nervous to like
Yeah.
meet. Like, oh, I would. Yeah.
I always say
but
never
then
meet
like
your
that.
hero because
Yeah.
then
They'll
it'll be
disappoint
like
you.
it's the-
We've interviewed someone that I was let down by. It's real. Like that disappointment is very, very real. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I want to air it out so bad.
All right, that's the end of the show
Yeah.
today.
And on that note,
I hate disappointment.
thanks for listening.
Thank you for
Thank you
coming.
for coming.
Thank you.
They was
I hope you guys
so dope.
had
Follow
fun.
her.
I hope you guys had fun with your first interview.
Yes, that first
It was
podcast.
awesome.
Thank
Hope you guys will come back if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
This is
Definitely.
unexpected for me,
You
so
guys are
thanks for
coming
the
back. I
invite.
get it.
Tonight.
They're coming back. They're coming back.
You guys want to shout out where people can find you guys? Social media?
I don't know.
They're so
Instagram, I guess.
adorable.
I don't care though. Colin_Ridgway without the E in my last name. That's it. Follow me if you want.
Instagram as well. It's at Liz, Liz, the letter B, and then Croft.
I really enjoy you guys. You guys are really great people. You have great spirits, and
Thank you.
I'm looking
Good
forward to see
vibes.
what's next for you
Good
guys.
vibes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
too.
If you enjoyed this podcast, wherever you indulged at, iTunes, Spotify, please utilize their rating system because that would definitely help. And it looks nice to see all those 5 stars in those reviews. It's really, really refreshing and feels good. Also, you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/introvertedintuition. Follow us on Instagram at introvertedintuitionpod. And if you're interested in potentially coming on to guest as a show or you want to book us for something, email us at introvertedpod@yahoo.com. And that is it. It's super hot. Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you for
guys.
listening.
Oh, Jesus. No, it is hot. Came in here and just started sneezing.
Sweet.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
So is your,
That's a
is your,
podcast.